everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Talking Tongue, the weekly quarantine show where I get to talk to my friends near and far and all across the world. Actually, this friend is pretty close to me, to be honest. I just haven't seen her in person in a really long time. The person joining me here today, first time doing Talking Tongue, but has appeared in a few ranked episodes. You might know her accent. It's very thick, with 3 C's. We're talking about Keish Saunders, everyone. Hello.
Hi, my name is Keish.
Keish, here you are. Your lovely Australian accent. That's, nope, what, Irish? Scottish? I'm just not going to try. I can't do accent.
Everyone mistakes for being British.
Right. Right. Have you ever lied to anyone and just said, fuck it, I'm British?
Listen, I've thought about it. I honestly have, but I decided against it because then I'd have to make up a whole story about the place I said that I'm from.
You know, Keish, it's interesting with you because you have one of those names like mine where people are like, what's your name? Like, even if you say it the first time, they just go like, Keish or tongue. But you also have the accent too, where people are like, where are you from? And then you always have the same conversations with people. Now, I'm not going to reveal where you work, but you have one of those jobs where you talk to a lot of people.
Yes.
So you must have that a lot where people always ask you.
It's literally every single person I talk to. They ask the question. I know, I wait for it. It might not be at the beginning, but it might be at the end or in the middle, or then I'll explain something and then they'll ask me halfway between that. So...
yeah, you know what it is? It's because they feel so comfortable around you that they just got to know more about you. That's what it is. That's what it is. You know what though? The people here, they can probably tell that you're a very nice person, but they don't know who you are because some people only listen to Talking Tongue and not Ranked and all the other shows in the pod cavern. Crazy, I know. So can you explain to the people? Just tell them about yourself.
Yeah. I guess I could say I'm an Australian Canadian now. Because I think the last time we spoke, I didn't even have last time I was on the podcast, I didn't have my permanent residence then, but now I do.
That's insane because since I met you, it was like an ongoing battle to get your permanent residence.
It's been a saga. I'll say it's been a saga, and it took a few years, but finally I can proudly say I'm Australian Canadian now.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. It feels good. I'm not going to lie. It feels good.
Good. You get a maple leaf tattoo to your body
I know.
or something.
I need to do that now. I think that's the next step for me.
Well, maybe wait till COVID's over and then you can tattoo something to your body.
I guess I have 2 fur babies, Charlie and Soybean. They keep me busy.
Yeah.
And
a dog. A
cat.
Yeah.
And I pretty much spend all my time working so that they can live their luxury life that they live.
Yeah. The fur babies, they cost some money to keep them going. And you know, as someone who just recently got a fur baby, it's one of those things where you're like, all I gotta do is make sure they eat their food. And that's all I gotta pay for. Maybe a couple treats here and there, maybe a couple toys, and then you're like, oh shit, they're sick. Oh my
god. I know we were talking about this, but they are expensive. They can get expensive, and there's all these little hidden costs that you don't think of when you get a pet.
Now, yes, exactly. And then here I am complaining about anytime I have to bring my pet to the vet, and then I'm like, but I'm not going to pay for pet insurance. Something's wrong with me.
Mate, it's just the way it is when you have animals.
I know. Well, Keish, what else keeps you busy? You know, it's the pandemic time still. Here we are in December, close to Christmas, but we still want to keep happy, you know? It's the holiday spirit. On Talking Tongue, this is a whole month of just holiday cheer. So what are the things that are getting you excited leading up to Christmas or in general through the pandemic that's just kind of like getting you by and making you, inspired to keep on trucking?
I think one of the biggest things I've been doing lately is just immersing myself in my hobbies that I really do love. So cooking is one of them. I love cooking, so I'll bake treats. I'm actually about to bake some treats as holiday gifts this year because I think it's a little bit more personal. You don't see people at the moment. Like I'm trying to think the last time I really hung out with like all my friends, and it's been such a long time. So keeping busy by cooking. I recently, it's gonna make me sound so old, but I recently just started like learning how to sew.
That's awesome.
It's
Keish, I don't want to say, like, we're a similar age here, but like, you know, we're at that age that you got to learn how to do these things now, you know. So when you are that old age of like say 60 or 70, when you're actually old, because like, you know, think about the people who are like 50 or 60, they're master sewers now, right? You have to learn sometime. Exactly. The time is now.
You gotta start somewhere, honestly. But yeah, like doing things like, you know, learning new things over the summer. Like I did a lot of learning as well. I planted my first vegetable garden, and I gotta say, like, I'm pretty surprised. It was actually pretty successful.
What'd you grow?
Oh my God, like tomatoes, carrots, which I still have carrots growing at the moment. Can you believe that? Yeah.
It's December, everyone. Carrots in December?
And I'd had a huge herb garden, like a huge herb garden.
Wow.
And bell peppers. A shit ton of sunflowers. Oh my fucking God. So many sunflowers.
So did you harvest it and actually eat all the vegetables and stuff Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Good.
Oh my God. I grew so many bloody zucchinis. Like I had like at one stage, like 8 growing, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with these zucchinis. I have
How
to give
big
them
did
to
they
people. Like, oh gosh, I want to say at least 30 centimeters. I don't know what that is in inches because we don't use the half and half metric system like North Americans do.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We just use one. Not this whole confusion.
Not to alienate the U.S. audience of Talking Tongue, but our system makes more sense, I think, for measuring stuff.
Metric all the way.
Yeah.
Metric all the way. But
metric.
You know, I think, you know, immersing yourself in hobbies and just staying as positive as you can because we are going through a pandemic. It's tough. It's tough on a lot of people, but you just have to keep doing things that make you happy and maybe finding little hobbies like that, which you never thought you'd be interested in, is something that you do. And you try it out, and if you don't like it, then you move on to the next thing.
Oh my God. Keish, you should be running this podcast. You're so eloquent and so inspiring.
I don't know about inspiring. I try.
I love it. I freaking love it. And you reminded me of when a mutual friend of ours, Justin R., let's call him, R. Owly, I guess I should say. Did I reveal too much? Maybe. Anyways, he gave me a zucchini over the summer that was literally half the size of my body.
Oh my God.
It was freaking insane. And he gave me 2 of them too. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with these? Like, it looked like the Green Giant, like one of his like sex toys, I guess. Like it was so big. And I couldn't believe it. Like I gave one of the zucchinis away to like an electrician friend of ours. And then kept this other zucchini and it fed us for like 4 meals. It was crazy.
Dude, that would have been like 6 zucchinis in one. Like when you think of it. Those things, they get huge. And like I was pulling mine off because they were getting so massive. And I was like, if they grow any bigger, they're going to drop down to the ground and the fucking rabbits are going to get them.
Yeah, exactly. That's,
oh my God, those little bastards.
That's next year we're going to try to grow a vegetable garden. So hopefully if a rabbit doesn't get it, I'm sure Captain Meatball is going to get all over
Oh yeah,
it.
you know Captain Meatball is going to be in there getting it.
He's already thinking about it.
Yeah, he's already got it on his to-do list. Next July.
I know. I mean, like, I should just say this right now, but like earlier today, he saw an orange peel on our walk, immediately went for it, took it out of his mouth.
Oh my
3
God.
steps later, saw a banana peel, took it out of his mouth. A block later, found an apple core, took it out of his mouth. And I'm like, who's eating all these fucking fruits around me? I was so mad. It was crazy. I'm like, I'm sure that person thought they were composting.
I wonder if it's the same person. They just were like, I'm going to have an orange. And then a banana.
Bringing a fruit basket with them on our walk. Anyways, let's move on, Keish. We have so much to talk about today.
Yes.
We have to talk about the news of the week. Now, I'm excited to talk about some of this news because I feel like some of this news like this, a lot of this news is like big nerdy shit, but I feel like, you might not have the same reaction to it because it's not because you don't like it, because you just don't watch that stuff. So I'm really curious on that perspective, how you feel about it. But let's start off with this, because I think this is just fantastic. Have you heard of A Recipe for Seduction before, Keish?
No, no, I'm trying to think. Have I heard of this? No, I haven't.
Okay, well, I only found about this last week, and I think it actually came out. Oh, it's coming out. It came out today, so there's probably a review for it.
Oh,
Mario Lopez. Are you familiar with Mario Lopez?
Yes, I do know Mario Lopez, actually. Well, not
Yes.
personally, but I know of him.
Yeah, you do. He's also an Australian Canadian, of course. Kentucky Fried Chicken. They made a Lifetime original mini movie starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. So he plays the famous Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken in this Lifetime movie, and it's about like, I mean, I saw the commercial. It looks terrible. It's like this person falling in love with Colonel Sanders, who's Mario Lopez. So he's like this really jacked up guy supposed to be playing the KFC guy.
It's funny. Like when you said, you said Recipe for Seduction? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Like I was not picturing a KFC movie.
No, it's a KFC movie. Or sorry, it's presented
story
by KFC. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Mini movie. You should watch the trailer.
That's great.
Later.
I think I have to. I have to watch it now.
Keish, it looks truly terrible, but like maybe in a good way. Like it's one of those.
I love that. That's what I love about it, though. It's just you think when you see something like that, you just like, are they like serious? So now you put it on my radar. I have to watch it.
Exactly. And I'm going to like blow your mind because after I saw this, I'm like, what the fuck is KFC doing? And apparently they've been doing this for the last couple of years. They've been planting the seed of hot Colonel Sanders. I'm not joking. Last couple of years, because a friend of mine sent me a link to this dating sim game for iOS. I don't know what it's called. I forget, but it's basically presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's a hot Colonel Sanders looking anime, and it's just a dating sim game.
Oh my God, stop.
Yeah. Wow, and I'm not done. There's one more, is that there's also like this KFC like hired like a fan fiction romance novel or something like that. And it's called Tender Wings of Desire, and you can get it on Goodreads. Yeah.
They're just ticking off all the like satisfaction boxes, food, like I guess romance now. What else they're going to come up with next?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, whatever it is, it's going to have a hot Colonel Sanders.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah. Look, I'm all for it. I'm living for it right now.
Good. Yeah, maybe. Well, we should have watched that movie this week.
Maybe that should have been the movie of the week.
Maybe not Christmassy enough. I don't know. I feel like it turns into a porno at some point.
Listen, Recipe for Seduction. Like I said, the title.
The title's good enough.
Very misleading.
We're going to move on to this. We won't spend too long onto this because I shudder at the thought of this, but it's just something that I was just curious on your thoughts about. Apple just announced AirPods Max. It's an over-the-ears headphone for $549 US.
US, yes. Let's be
fucking clear about this.
Let's be clear on the US part of that.
I don't need your whole take on this. I just want to say that it's around $700 something in Canada. You can buy an iPad with that money.
I know. You know, like my initial thoughts on this was a lot of the headphones on the market right now, they have like, you know, pretty good sound engineering behind them.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't judge until I try. I'm going to say that. Can't judge until I try.
For sure. It's so expensive.
It is. It is very expensive, and I gotta say the design. I don't know how I feel about the design, especially that bag, man.
Oh, I didn't even see that bag.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna put you onto something.
Just describe it to me.
It looks like a piece of clothing that women wear underneath their clothing. You have to look at You have to look at the memes.
Okay.
That's all. I'm going to end it there.
Okay. All right. I'm already picturing. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, really? Does it absorb blood? Let's move on. Let's move on, Keish. Too much. Let's see here. How do you feel? Okay. Maybe we should talk about some of the big stuff that came out like last week, which is like things like Cyberpunk dropping, like the video game Cyberpunk. I personally don't own Cyberpunk, not a game that I immediately want to play. Is this something that's ever, I know Keish, you're a gamer yourself, mostly Overwatch in the past.
Look, I'm still stuck on the Overwatch train. They came out with a new short, so they just hooked me back in.
They're good at that stuff. Now,
they really are.
You kind of pay attention to games on the periphery sometimes. Did you ever have an interest in Cyberpunk at all?
No, it's not a game that really interested me that much. Like it didn't intrigue me enough to want to play it. So
yeah, what about the I mean, you probably don't know, I guess, too much about it, but like, is it the cyberpunk aesthetic that's like kind of a turnoff for you?
No, I think it's cool. It's just, for me, I need a certain type of game to play that really gets me hooked in, and that's just not one of them.
Yeah, what kind of games would you say that like really hook you?
Oh gosh, games with a storyline for sure. Like I need not just a storyline, a good storyline.
Overwatch.
Yes, Overwatch. Let's
famous story game.
And then I guess good storyline. Also, the game needs to look good and feel good when you play it.
Yeah.
And I hate to go back to Overwatch, does a really good job of that as well.
Hey, listen, when Overwatch released, it was like, and it still is, and they've been improving it over the years. I haven't kept up with it, but when it came out, it was you could play it. It worked. It felt good.
Yes.
Cyberpunk. I'm not sure if you knew this, Keish, but it's been like a decade since they announced it.
Wow. Okay. Maybe I should revisit it and give it a try.
Well, here's the thing, Keish. The reason why I bring it up is because it's a fucking mess right now.
Oh god.
It's just came out. Like, people like it, but it's just a complete buggy mess on all consoles.
Oh yeah.
Only works really on PC. It just seems like it got delayed too. It's one of those things that I'm not sure how much I want to get into it, but basically I felt like it got a lot of pressure to come out in 2020 when a lot of video game studios pushed back their games, and Cyberpunk pushed it back a little bit. But also, like, I almost had the feeling like, you can't let the fans pressure you into putting out this game. I know it's been a long time since you announced it, but if the game's not finished, then the fans will also be pissed.
Yes.
And that's what the fans did. Like, so they pressured the devs to put it out. It's out, and now that they're mad, because it's too buggy.
It's not good enough now. It's not good enough.
It's like, why'd you put it out? It's like, you made us put it out. Yeah.
I was just actually having a quick read about. I didn't actually know that the people that made that game were the same ones that made The Witcher.
Yep.
Yeah.
So high pedigree. Yeah.
Yeah, super surprising. So, for them to be getting that much, booked for being called out for how shitty it is right now, I'm really surprised, I gotta say.
Well, I think it goes back to, I have complete confidence they're going to fix it up. It's going to be running great, maybe in 6 months or something like that. I just feel really bad for, the team for working so hard on this game, and now they're getting shit. It's not their fault. Probably get a lot of executives saying, no, you got to put it out for the holiday season.
It's all the higher up people that's probably pushing them to just release it, and they did. And I guess they're going to iron out a few creases now, but
working overtime maybe is what I hope. I hope it's not that.
Yeah, there's probably lots of overtime happening right there.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Anyways, Cyberpunk, and there's a whole Game Awards thing that happened over the weekend too, or over last week. Did you play any games that came out last or this past year, Keish, or has it just been Overwatch all the time, baby?
Well, honestly, yeah, I'm always on the Overwatch train, always.
You love it, I know.
I get, apart from my Switch and all my Switch games that I've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I barely even really touch my PC, and I guess because I'm a PC gamer, not a console gamer.
Yeah.
I haven't even really turned it on over the last few months because all my new hobbies are overtaking my gaming time.
It's
And
true. It's probably healthy
yeah,
for you too, because you're not staring at a screen all
yes, yeah,
day.
I'm being way more productive these days. But I think I want to say I did start playing a new game. I kind of, you know what? It must have been good because I don't remember the name of it.
There you go. It's
There you go.
completely bad. Probably Cyberpunk or something. You're probably
Yeah,
playing Cyberpunk. You don't even
probably
know.
was. Yeah.
I was just thinking, today, because I'm trying to play a lot of video games right now. In the last month, I've been doing a big push because every year for Ranked, we do a top five of the best games that came out that year.
Mm.
And usually I try to wait till the like very last minute because that's kind of just who I am. But also, games go on sale at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I gotta check my Steam wish list and see if any of them are
Oh
going on.
yeah, there was a bunch of big sales. So the problem is like today, finally, I said no. Today's we're recording this on a Sunday. I'm gonna just sit back and play a ton of video games today, and I
Mm.
did. I did do
You
that for the
did?
first time in forever,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
like looked away from the screen. I'm like, I feel kind of gross. Like, it's like,
Hey,
like,
listen. I remember like there was at times I'd take off a week of vacation, and guess what I did? I sat in a dark room for a
yeah.
whole 5 days straight, just playing video games. And afterwards, I was like, what has my life become?
I know. Like,
Who
I'm
am
not gonna
I?
say I hated every minute of it because I kind of
Oh
love
no.
being in that little hole, but like there's a little bit of like a stench that comes off of you after you
Oh
play
yeah.
that
Oh
many
yeah.
video games. Yeah.
But like I just remember that feeling of like, starting to play games at like 9 o'clock in the morning and looking down like, holy shit, it's 8 o'clock at night. Where did
Better
the
go have
time
breakfast. Should probably shower today or something. I wonder if my dog needs some food. I don't know. Oh boy.
go? Lucky
Video
Charlie
games.
wasn't around then. Oh,
Good. That's probably a good thing.
Charlie who?
Yeah. Let's move on to okay. So the other big news that came out last week, and maybe this will be the last story that before our movie, is that there was just a shit ton of Disney stuff that came out last week. I'm not sure if you saw
Mm.
it, like just
Mm.
a ton of Disney stuff, a ton of Star Wars stuff, which I know it's
I was
still
gonna say
Disney.
huge Star Wars fan, so I'm loving that Hayden
Mandalorian.
Christensen's back.
Are you, so
I'm
are
talking
you, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the new Darth Vader. Oh my God, wait, my cat's just interrupting my conversation right now.
Yeah, so you're talking about the new. Okay, well, here, let me see if I can find. There were so many things announced for the Disney Star Wars thing. I can't even keep track of it. But are you watching Mandalorian right now?
Okay, I haven't started.
Uh huh.
I haven't started it. I will. I will. I just haven't started it yet.
Because that's like the biggest. I would say it's the thing that like rekindled my love for Star Wars. Because I honestly, it
Oh,
was like,
okay.
oh, I'm kind of sick of Star Wars. The last movie didn't really do too much for me, and then this whole Mandalorian season 2 has just been mwah, so good.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. And then they just dropped like 10 more Star Wars announcements
Yeah,
over the
and
weekend.
I'm living for it. I'm living for it.
All right, let's go quickly down the list here. They're going to make an Ahsoka live action TV series. So this is a spoilers, but Rosario Dawson stars as Ahsoka. She does an appearance in the newest season of Mandalorian, and they're going to make a whole show based on her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're going to get Rangers of the New Republic. I don't know anything about that, so it's a Mandalorian spin-off as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Andor, which is featuring the main character, Cassian Andor, I'm pretty sure his last name is, from Rogue One, if you watch that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is probably the big news, which is Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader.
Love that. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for
I
that.
wonder how expensive he was to get back. I'm going to guess not very, because he
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
work too much.
I was going to say, I haven't really seen him in anything else, like recently, unless I've been living under a rock. But
Well, he can just live off Star Wars money for the rest of his life, right?
truth. Yes, truth.
The Bad Batch is an animated Clone Wars spinoff. Don't know anything. I never watched Clone Wars. I never watched any of the animated stuff.
I feel like I played the game, one of the games that came out on PlayStation.
Okay.
There
Okay.
was, I think there was a Star Wars game that was that. I'm pretty sure there was.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, I
There's so
know.
many.
There's probably so many we don't know about too. Like so
I
many low
know.
budget ones that were made that we just don't know about.
And a lot of like Star Wars people are exhausting because there's just so many different types of Star Wars lore. And then like
Yeah.
back then it was like, this is canon. And then like all of a sudden Disney's like, no, it's not. And now everyone's like, but wait, but it was canon. And then they're like melting and like getting really sad because all of the things that they learned about these fake people is no longer relevant.
It's so fucking true.
Yeah, that's why I don't pay attention to that stuff because I'm like, fuck it, I don't care that much.
You gotta put for part of it. Like I love nerding out, but I gotta put my blinders on at times. I gotta put my blinders
exactly.
on.
It's like I can't. When people go way too hard, I'm like, I can't join you there, buddy. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to. What about Darth? And they're gonna say like a name that I've never heard of before.
Never heard of you.
Darth Chromacon the second. It's like I'm okay. Maybe I'm being too mean to those people. I'm just trying to celebrate Star Wars here. Okay, you don't give me those alternative history stuff. I don't care. Lando Calrissian's getting a spin-off as well, which is Donald Glover did that version of Lando Calrissian in the Solo movie. So he's getting his own Disney Plus movie or show now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right?
Wow, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, and it keeps going. So I'm just going to read the rest of here. The Acolyte, a droid story, which is R2-D2 and C-3PO return in a series introducing a brand new droid. It's like, I don't know. And then like Marvel, I'm just going to read this out. I won't get into it too much, but WandaVision, Falcon the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Armor Wars. They're going to do a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, an I Am Groot TV show. Pixar's doing something called Inside Pixar. They're having Soul Drop, Burrow, Pixar Popcorn, Doug Days, Cars the series, something called Lightyear, which stars Chris Evans as the original Buzz Lightyear.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Right?
Oh my gosh.
And it just keeps going. There's going to be a Hocus Pocus 2. There is going to be the live action Pinocchio movie, another Ice Age movie, A Night at the Museum, Reboot, Chip and Dale. Walt Disney Animation's doing Raya and the Last Dragon, a Baymax movie, a Zootopia movie, a Moana the series, like a Tiana the series.
They are like on some serious crack right now.
I know,
it's going crazy.
I think it was last Thursday. It was just like Disney, the Video Game Awards, and like a couple other outlets, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for some reason also decided to be like, oh yeah, we're 4 more seasons for us. Like everyone decided last Thursday was the night to just dump all this information.
Yeah, just to dump it all on us.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what we're doing next year. We might still be like, having to stay away from people. So we got to have shit to watch. Like,
yeah, it's a good thing we're both masters at living in our own stench.
Oh yeah, in our own stench in this dark, tiny room in front of a screen. Dude, what's that?
Yeah, Charlie, go feed yourself. I can't move.
Don't worry, she's got an auto feeder now. She'll be right.
All right, Keish, that's enough news for the week. I want to talk about let's bring it back to Christmas. Bring it back to Christmas.
Time. Isn't it just such a nice time of the year?
Are you excited for Christmas, Keish?
I really am. I know that Christmas is going to be so different for a lot of people, but I feel like it's kind of like it's just a little bit more special this year, maybe.
Yeah, so I know it's hard because you can't see as many people, obviously, but how will you celebrate this year?
Probably, I don't know. I've got a few options, but I think staying home might be the best one to choose at this stage.
Yeah. We're going to do a Zoom like Zoom dinner with my family. We're all gonna make food and then Zoom, and then probably have to help troubleshoot my mom's phone over Zoom or something.
Whereas like I think honestly, I think that's gonna be the same for us here. Like I would normally FaceTime my family this time of year anyway, so that's kind of the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Of course.
But
I don't know if people know this, but they're in Australia.
Yes, so. And they are Australian. Yeah. But also, like, it's kind of crazy spending it here for me when it's cold outside, because in Australia it's summer.
That's true, yeah.
You'd be sitting on the beach, like, having, like, a lunch or a really late dinner. Really early dinner.
Wow.
So generally that's how I'm used to spending it. But this year, I guess that will be the same for them. I'm just going to FaceTime them. But apart from that, just staying home, I think is going to be the best choice.
So if Australia is really warm, would Santa still be wearing his warm outfit going to Australia?
He wears his boardies and some flip-flops and a pair of sunnies, and that's his outfit.
I just imagine him in like a Borat costume, like, you know, where it just like rides up his crotch.
Yes. Like, it has to be red with a white outline on the outside of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And just so people know who he is, he has to wear his hat.
Of course. Yeah. And like, you know, he's packing because he's been around for so long.
You know, he's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, his bulge still in good shape.
Yeah, still going strong.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of Santa's bulge, let's talk about the movie of the week, Keish. You want to introduce the movie for us?
Okay, do we want a drum roll?
Yes.
Elf.
Will Ferrell.
Okay, people, Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
I know him.
Elf.
Do you remember me?
I do. I didn't recognize you.
I know. I'm in work clothes. I didn't know you had elves here.
You're hilarious, my friend.
Did you have to borrow a reindeer to get down here?
Hey, you feeling strong, my friend? Call me Elf one more time.
He's an angry elf.
Elf. Everyone,
Elf.
2003's Elf. Wow. Will Ferrell. Keish, I'm so excited that you picked this movie, but let's get some setup. What made you think of Elf as the movie you want to talk about today?
Okay, there's a couple of things I really love about this movie. One, it is hilarious. Some of it is like totally cringe, but I kind of love that in movies, like those cringe funny moments.
Mm-hmm. It's also a Christmas movie. There's always a level of cringe, you know?
Yes. I do love Christmas movies. All December, I try and watch as many as I can. This is one that's always usually a Christmas Day movie, but seeing as though we're going to be reviewing it today, I was like, why not just choose Elf? I watched it yesterday. It was awesome. It's cringy, but it also has like a really nice warm Christmas story behind it. And it just warms my soul when I watch it.
This movie, and I'm going to reiterate, this movie came out in 2003. So we are 17 fucking years
oh my God.
Like since this movie came out, which is
I'm dead.
Insane. Like I'm surprised they hopefully they don't do this like an Elf 2 or something like that.
God, could you imagine?
It's people like view this movie being like, oh, this is a new age Christmas film. It hasn't. It's been 17 years. That's an old enough. Elf can almost drink now.
Yes.
You know, it's crazy to me because when I watch this film, and I probably watch this every year, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, is Elf overrated? Like, is this one of those movies that just people say it's good and it's a good Christmas film, but is it actually one of the best Christmas films? And on rewatch, even though I sing it every single year, this year in particular, I was watching it and I was like, might be the best Christmas movie like ever. Like it's just so good.
It's so good. It hits like so many good points in it. It has the humor. It has like the funny actors, the comedy. That's pretty much all under humor. But anyway, yeah. And it has like a really awesome Christmas story behind it. Like the actual joy of Christmas and what it actually means to some families. I really like that aspect of it. Yeah.
It's totally that. You're so right. And like, you know, Christmas movies, they have to check off a couple boxes to be a Christmas movie, right? Like they have to somehow tie in Santa to it. They always have to talk about the Christmas cheer and people believing in Santa Claus and all this other stuff, or like some Grinchy person who doesn't believe in Santa Claus but then does at the end, like all of those tropes.
It's so good.
All of that is there, but it's so well rounded because it's on the backbone of an incredible cast. Not just Will Ferrell. Like we have, I'm just going to name some people here, like Zoe Deschanel, we have James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, and Jon Favreau plays a character. Peter Dinklage is in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
one of my favorite.
Pre-Game of Thrones.
There's also, this is such a random, like, because I was looking through the cast list. There's also this random actor in there. I guess he's like he's appeared in many films, but just by accident. And he's this dude called Radio Man. Okay. And he's actually like a homeless dude that lived. He's not homeless anymore because he's been in so many films by accident, just on the street when they film in Manhattan. But Radio Man is in this movie, and I was looking through the cast, and I was like, "Who the hell is Radio Man?" And I looked at his whole biography. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy accidentally became famous."
Wow, that's so interesting. I didn't know that.
It's so weird. I couldn't believe it when I was reading it. But now he actually has like full-time gig just being like a random actor in like really famous films.
That's so great. Yeah, like the cast list is, I mean, I could have kept going, but like I it's just incredible. There's some people that are like, "Oh my god, like I don't know, like Amy Sedaris, Kyle Gass is in this." Like it's just, there's so many hard-hitting people from like the comedy and improv world. You know, Will Ferrell very closely tied to a lot of these people, especially back in the day with SNL and stuff like that too. You can see like it's like him in his most prime. Like, not that Will Ferrell is bad now. Like, I just watched Eurovision a couple months ago, and that was hilarious. But, you know, like, I would say, for me, this might be the best Will Ferrell role he's ever done.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Definitely up there for him.
Like, I can't think of any. I mean, I shouldn't say I can't think of any, but, like, this one's, like, he just nails Buddy. Like, Buddy is such a fun character to play.
Yeah. Yeah, he really does. Like, in all of the scenes, especially before he goes to the big city, like the character that he plays and like who he is, like it's just so on point.
You have to portray such an unreasonable amount of positivity and smiling, you know, or like that's because he plays like a man child in a lot of it. Like he's just a kid, right?
Yeah, he's an elf. He hasn't technically grown up. Like he still has a childlike mentality. Yeah,
but it makes for like such amazing comedy bits throughout the movie. Like I just think about how fun it was for him to probably film him eating spaghetti and chocolate and Smarties and syrup and just like Pop-Tarts and him like breaking it apart and like mixing it up with his hands and then putting it in his mouth. I'm like, holy shit, that would have been so hilarious to film.
Yeah, it would have been so much fun. Like there's actually so many scenes that include him like adding like all sorts of sugar to any type of food that he eats and any type of food that he makes for other people. But I think one of the funniest parts of that movie for me is when he has to go to work with his dad for the day, and his dad puts him down in the mailroom. I don't know if you remember this.
Of course I remember it.
Yes.
Yes.
So he puts him down in the mailroom, and I guess he has to go. He's like, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And he goes and he's, you know, sitting next to some tough guy, and the guy's like, pours like a bottle of like booze coffee. He's like, "Ooh, I love syrup." And the guy's like, "Knock yourself out." And they just both get totally wasted together.
Yeah, it's You're right. I love that scene too. Honestly, the entire movie is very tight. Like it's less than an hour and a half, the entire movie. So they jam pack a ton of stuff in here. So there was never a part of the movie that I'm just like that drags, you know, like it's just as long as it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. The maple syrup scenes are great.
Oh my God. There's just so many quotes, and I pulled up a quote list here. Like a cotton-headed Nitty Muggins, like that's just a classic. I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite. I feel like that's a very like Buddy thing to say. Let's see here. Buddy the elf, what's your favorite color when he's answering the phone?
Oh, like one of the best scenes.
Yeah, you sit on a throne of lies. Does someone need a hug? Bye, buddy from the narwhal. Like, there's just so many moments in the movie that's genuinely laugh out funny for like kids and adults. You know? Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I also want to say that in the opening scene, all the elves are like so happy to be working, and they're like getting ready for the next year after like they've just finished all the toys. And I'm like, that's true inspiration. I hope one day like I get a job and I am just that happy to be at work.
Yeah, and it's so funny because they're like, oh, that was a busy Christmas. All right, time to get ready for next Christmas. And everyone's like, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like this, Santa's not even giving them a paid vacation or anything. These elves are just so
inspiration, man. It's inspiration.
Yeah. They're so pumped to make more etch and sketches. Like it's just oh my God. Okay, so I guess where else can we go from here? Let's talk about some of these. I mean, we've already celebrated Will Ferrell. I don't have enough nice things to say about him in this movie. He's just so good. But let's talk about some of these other characters too, like Jovi, Zooey Deschanel's character. Give me your thoughts on her.
One, she looks so like different with blonde hair.
Yeah,
I gotta say, like I every time I watch it, I feel like, oh man, I forgot she has blonde hair in this film. So like straight off the bat, it just kind of throws me off a bit. But her character in the beginning is a little grinchy.
Yeah,
it's a little grinchy in the beginning, but then like Buddy, like after he gets her to kind of warm up to it a little bit more, makes her a better person, and like he has that impact on so many different people in the movie. Because I think it's like the genuineness that comes from him, right? But I do love her in that, and she definitely can sing. She has a voice. Like she sounds great when she sings all the Christmas songs in there.
Well, she had a group, right? A singing group with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I'm pretty sure it was, or someone else too. Anyway, she's a singer. She knows how to sing. Oh my
gosh! Wow. Yeah. Okay. I didn't actually know that about her.
Yeah. She has like an incredible voice, and obviously sings all the stuff in the actual movie too. That shower scene when they're singing together is hilarious, though. When she's singing in the shower, when they're singing "Baby, It's Cold Outside," and it's such an earnest thing, because it's just like with his face, he's not being a pervert. He just likes the way she sounds.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then when she's like, "Don't look at me," and he's like, "Ah," and he runs into like in the locker. It's like, that's hilarious. I don't know. It's, again, that's kid friendly, adult friendly. Yeah. It blends them both very well. And I felt like her character wasn't like, it's just a little bit better than a lot of romantic leads. Like, it's not like a crazy progressive role or anything like that, but it's just like, I felt like her character was like, there was some stuff to it, you know, like more than just being like, I'm just the love interest. Blah. Like she does kind of does her own stuff, and I just felt a little bit more self-independent than a lot of female actresses, or female characters, especially in the early 2000s, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. The story is good. I like as well, like when he takes her when Buddy takes Jovi on a date. And he's like, okay, I have a few ideas, and just starts storming off down the road. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll follow you. Like, that scene itself is really funny, because it's not like the classic way that you'd go on a date with someone.
Yeah.
Where you just like show up and you're like, all right, we've got this plan, let's go.
Yeah.
So I really like that scene as well. But
and they go ice skating. They go, he spins in that revolving door for a little bit. It's very cute.
The part where he takes her into that coffee shop, and there's like the world's best cup of coffee. She's like, oh, it tastes like a crappy cup of coffee. And she sips it. She's like, it is. He's like, what? He's like, it's supposed to be the world's best cup of coffee.
Congratulations, guys. You did it. Like, it's just, that's so funny.
Oh, it's cringe. I love it.
And I like James Caan's character. He's the father, plays Walter in the movie. I love a good story where like you have like the grouchy dad who's like, I all about business. I'm just all about the business, and I don't care about anybody. But you know he has a soft spot. And when they do the event, they earn that moment when he like turns, you know, he's just like, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm gonna go help my son. It's just like, that's so nice.
Yeah, like he has like, you know, all throughout the movie just like so much bitterness inside of him, and then once he starts to realize that how important his family is, because Buddy just has so much love for him instantly. Like
Yeah.
straight off the bat, he doesn't know who this person is. He knows it's his dad. That's all he knows, but he's just like, you know, I'm your son, and I want to like, you know, go ice skating with you, and
Hold hands.
Over time that he starts to kind of like, I guess it changes him, and like it's another person that Buddy has that like impact on in the movie. So it's a good character growing.
I love the scene when Walter's character, or Walter, holds up the gift for like that special someone, and it's that like Santa lingerie, and he's like, what the fuck? It's just good. That's just good. Oh man.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about like Peter Dinklage. I want to touch on Miles Finch.
Miles Finch,
Very fun character. I just wanted, again, this is pre Game of Thrones. So this is when like Peter Dinklage was like working his ass to be into stuff. Like now people would be lucky to have him on it, right? Because he's so fucking famous and great actor, all this stuff. But back then he was like really proving himself. And, you know, back in the day, it's like, oh, it's funny because he's small. Like that's the reason why he's there and stuff like that. But it's like, no, it's funny because he's funny. Like it's such a different world now, you know, compared to back then. But his character, there's a lot of like, I don't know, it's just something about his character that he's just a big shot, you know? He's just
he's a powerful character, or like powerful in the company. So like he's kind of a bit like that whole scene for me. Like as soon as like the elevator doors open and the receptionist kind of looks around and is like, what? Yeah. And then he's marching down, and then like I was like, oh my God, I totally know where this is going and exactly what Buddy was going to think as soon as he saw him. And I was like, no,
that's why it's good, because like they could have done like a weird thing with the whole size thing, but it's like, no. This character has a size complex. Like he's a tough guy, but he also is really, really super sensitive of how like small he is. And Buddy is just an innocent guy, and he's just hung around with elves his entire life. So he really doesn't know the difference between like respecting people who are smaller than him like that. He's just like, no, he's just an elf, of course. And then it's just turns into a hilarious fight scene. Miles beating up Buddy, and I think it's just really fun.
And I think there's a line where he says, oh, he must be from the South Pole, not the North Pole, because of how mad and angry he is.
What an angry elf. Yeah. Or like, it's so funny when he's just like, call me elf one more time, when he's like strangling him, and Buddy takes that literally. He's like, you're an elf. And then they just continue wailing on each other. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And I'm going to jump a little bit, but I just think about the snowball scene when Will Ferrell is just hucking like snowballs.
Hammering snowballs. No, I love that scene too, that scene as well, because like that's when he waits for his stepbrother outside of his school basically all day, and then his stepbrother's like, I don't want to be around you, and then they have that moment where they bonded. Because like the guys are throwing the snowballs at his little brother. Yep. And then he just starts like he made like 50 in like 30 seconds.
It was crazy.
Like hammering them out.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It's a fun scene.
Yeah.
Is there any other favorite moments that you wanted to bring out in this movie?
I think honestly, like I love the ending. I love the ending when Santa crashes his sleigh in Central Park, and like Buddy's like, oh my God, Santa needs my help. And then his family, his dad and his little brother actually have to help him like get Santa's sleigh up and running again. I think like the ending is super emotional for me. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I almost cried watching.
I'm not gonna lie either. Me too. And I was just like, this is weird. I've seen this movie so many times. But it's just hitting me this year. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the pandemic. Maybe much more emotional person.
Yeah, but we're just like super sensitive to things now. But like it's such a like a nice way to end the movie, because they're like, he was, he was telling us the truth all along, when it's like, yeah, because Buddy is actually like a genuine person and he wouldn't lie to you. Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
There's that. There's the moment when Santa says, "No, you're more of an elf than anyone I've ever known." And it's just like, that's so nice to say. Like, it's such
yeah, I know.
Christmas movies at its best, you know what I mean? Like, it gives a good message to people, and this movie does that. It delivers.
Yeah, it really, really does. What else? I'm just trying to have a little think here. Oh my gosh, when Buddy eats the gum off the railing. Oh my gosh.
I always be like, oh my God, that's so gross, but it's so funny because Santa told him not to do it. And he just keeps going.
Like, he's like looking around to make sure people aren't watching him, and he's like sneaking it off the railing. I'm like, dude, no, stop.
That whole montage was really funny of like, you know, him just like going through New York, like taking all of the paper, like ad papers from the people on the streets and stuff like that. And him continually coming back for it. And even those people are like, no, you're done. That's just funny. That's just funny.
Honestly, I think we've really talked about a lot of the really good things in that movie.
Yeah, I think otherwise we'd be just like reciting quotes, which, you know, there's a lot of good quotes in this movie. Like, there's just a ton of good stuff. But I love how it ends, which is, you know, you're like, oh, what happens to Buddy? Because at the one of the last shots is him like riding on the sleigh and saying goodbye. Mm-hmm. And they could have just ended it there, where it says like, all these people never see him again. But it's like, nope, they ended even better than that. It's like Jovi gets to sometimes live in the North Pole with Papa Elf.
Papa Elf is there, yeah.
Oh, that guy, Paul Newhart, he delivers that character so good because he's just like, he's such a nice elf, right? He's the only elf that treats Buddy with respect because he's like the Papa Elf. So he's just like, and him holding the grandchild and him putting like Buddy like on his lap and stuff. It's just really sincere.
It really is.
Yeah. I actually saw Elf the musical last year.
Oh my gosh, did you really?
Yeah, there's a musical version of Elf. And I saw it in KW with the Drayton Theater Company, and they do a bunch of good shows, or they did anyways. Hopefully they still do next time they're back up. And it's like high production stuff, but it's like local-ish, like in the KW-ish area. Mm-hmm. Kitchener-Waterloo for people who don't know. And like, it doesn't have the exact same music because, you know, a lot of Elf does a lot of like royalty music. Like, you know, they take a lot of Christmas songs that are like, you have to pay a lot of money for these songs, right? Yeah. Except for its main theme song, which I think is just so good. Every time they play the main theme song in Elf, it's like chef's kiss. It's just such a good, I don't know. It's good orchestration, I guess. But in Elf the musical, they had to come up with their own shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember them like borrowing a lot of like the jokes from the movie. Of course they would, right? And then they would have to make their own jokes. And then the Buddy character has to match the same energy as Will Ferrell. And the guy did an amazing job. But it's just like, whoa, what am I watching here? It's so like, it's like, because sometimes you're like, wait a second, where's the narwhal saying goodbye to Buddy? That doesn't happen. Like they didn't do it. And then they start going like their own way too. Cause there's no Miles Finch character in this movie.
Oh, okay. I guess you could kind of compare musicals to like reading the book or in this case, watching the movie. Like things are always a little bit different, but the same in their own ways.
Yeah, like instead, I'm pretty sure this happens is like, instead of them being like, we hired Miles Finch to do this, they say, we found the secret notebook of an author, and they don't say Miles Finch. They just say like whatever. And so they're able to write that character out entirely and just be like, here are the pages for the book. And it's like, but where's Miles Finch?
Oh
and
my God.
Calling him an angry elf? Like,
I love that even better. I do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Recommend if it ever comes back.
When you can, I gotta go watch more musicals. I do.
You do.
Yes,
those are also things I miss quite dearly. But hey, we are at the end of talking about Elf. Any last thoughts about Elf before we wrap it up here, Keish?
I gotta say one line that we hear in the movie. Cotton-headed ninny muggins. Cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Yep. Yeah. It's a good line, Keish. And before Keish, I also want to say, like, you have to rate the movie too. So
Okay.
how are you gonna rate this?
I'll give it 9 out of 10 Will Ferrells.
9 out of 10 Will Ferrells. Wow.
I'm not going to give it 10 because it's not my favorite Christmas movie. But it's
what
up
is?
there.
What is?
The Grinch.
Jim Carrey's The Grinch?
Yes, Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Good movie.
That is like my favorite Christmas movie
I
of
will
all time.
say a lot of people have turned on that movie over the years, which is something I was not expecting. I don't know why. It's not like Jim Carrey did anything bad. It's just like people are just, I guess I just didn't realize people thought that movie was bad. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That movie's great.
The movie's great. It's amazing. Like, I know that the whole story behind The Grinch, I think, is really great. Because we're not talking about that movie, but I think it's great.
Agreed. Elf is great. Grinch is great. End of story. Keish, thanks so much for joining me here today on Talking Tongue.
Thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
I'm happy to hear you say that, and we'd love to have you back on either this show, Ranked, any other show. Let's just make your own show.
Yes. Okay. Done.
What do we talk about? Vegetables?
Vegetables, sewing, Charlie. How to get a permanent residency if you're an Australian citizen. I could write a whole podcast on that.
Okay, let's do it. I'm not sure how many people will listen, but we'll see.
Probably 0.
Yeah, I know. I guess a lot of people, Australians who want to be Canadians or get a permanent residence.
Look, I'll stick with the gardening and the sewing.
Okay, sounds good. Keish, do you have anything to plug for the people?
Oh, actually, yes. I have been reading a book on iBooks. And I'm just going to quickly pull it up. Now, I would recommend that if you are going to read it, don't read anything about it first. It's called We Were Liars. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're going to say?
That's all I'm going to say. Don't read anything about it. Go and buy the book.
Could you say if it's fiction or nonfiction?
It's fiction. It's fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so curious, but you know what? Maybe I'll just have to read it.
You just have to read it. You just have to read it.
Okay. Is there an audiobook?
Yes. When someone recommended it to me, they said, don't read anything about it. Just read the book.
I'm scared when people say that.
And it's slow to begin with, but some real juicy shit starts happening in it. It's great.
Is there a mystery? So no, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Tell you.
You don't have to tell me.
I can't tell you.
Don't tell me, you cotton-headed knee muggins. I can't even say that fast.
I know, it's so hard. Like, I tried to say it the second time before, and I just couldn't.
Go ahead, try it now.
Cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Okay, now do it faster.
Cotton-headed ninny...
I know. I can't can't do it. Oh, well, Keish, it's so lovely to hear from you.
It's good to hang out. Good to hang out and
catch up. You know, it's been a long minute. So
yes. Yeah. Good pandemic activities.
Yes, but hopefully the second I'm out of here, we'll get together. Hopefully it's not next Christmas.
Yes,
you know?
I know. And that, or if all these Disney shows come out, you know where you'll find us.
Yeah, we'll just be in our fucking caves, just disgusting, not showered in days.
If anyone wonders where we are, that's where you'll find both of us, just in our little cave.
Boxes of Domino's pizza, or like the step beneath Domino's pizza. Just frozen pizza, but like the PC brand, because we can't afford like the better frozen pizza. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, that's it for us today. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Talking Tongue, the holiday month special. Keish, before we go, you got to say your famous catchphrase.
The way she goes.
That's the way she goes. Bye, everyone.